I don't know if Sophia is gonna make it. But Scott should be coming shortly.
I was just going to say the Scots should be on their way. But welcome to episode 145, peeps. Like we saw, there was already people all up in this live stream, and we assumed it was our
Is it
peeps that come in.
145?
What?
I thought it was 144.
144. What are you talking about?
You said it. Welcome to episode 145. Now I'm like, is
Oh,
it?
oh, it is. I messed up. That was me.
Okay.
That was me. It is episode 144. It is.
I was
I
like,
said 140. I don't know why I said 145. That was my
the
fault.
next one
Because I
will be
made
145.
is what 145. I made sure because I looked up the number by looking at last week's stream, well, 2 weeks ago stream, to get the episode number. So I make sure that I put the right episode number at the beginning. There's
There we
our
are.
Scots.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, my darling. Look, I'm conscious.
Right? You were so cute, by the way. You're so cute. You were sleeping. When I left, I said goodbye by touching your forehead gently.
I I feel so terrible, but at the same time, like, you know me, honey, like Taurus 100, I cannot control when this body wants to sleep.
No, I loved it. It was okay.
And I heard you all had a wonderful time, so I'm still happy that good times were had.
We did. There was magic and stuff, and apparently someone or something ate our offering, so that's good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Scott, when we had to run out this morning, we tried to tell this while exhaling.
We are live, by the way.
We are live.
Oh, hey,
we had
Tink.
to run out. Tink's here. I'm not. Oh, there they are. I'm getting delayed messages on my phone. We ran out to Walmart. We got our tents and the tables for Pagan Pride. They actually had standing, like the straight legs, like the
Not
nice
the
straight
slants.
leg ones, not the slants.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the white canopy, so it actually like is UV reflecting, so it'll be even cooler underneath. And then we got two like cool 6-foot black tables. So it's like cool, like we'll have the white and the black and everything like that. But yeah, so we were running errands. We come home, and I opened my door, and it was some people would be terrified of the screen because like Ken immediately went to Hitchcock and birds because there was lots of and I'm like, oh my god, look at all these nature spirits that literally just magically appeared out of my little tiny, when I tell you there was at least 50 of these little tiny finches all over our house, like that just came up from our yard.
Oh my
out
god.
of no, I was like,
did they come from the back? I didn't see where they. Is that where they flew from?
No.
Oh.
They were literally in the grass.
Oh, in the grass
in the
out
front yard. And like the little amount of grass that we have, and literally 50, like 100 birds, I'm not even exaggerating, just flew out and like it was a lot of birds, and I was just like, oh my god. So obviously y'all did something right because the nature spirits are very, very happy.
Yeah, I feel like we did something right last night. We had a little llamas gathering, kind of. We just wanted a little small thing at home, kind of thing. And
little devotional thing going on.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was just nice to do something ad-libbed, not scripted, just something really off the cuff. It was just really nice to have everyone, like to have the little squad together. So that was really nice. I did finally I know we talked about it in a previous episode. I don't know if we lost Rue. Did we lose Rue?
Am I here?
Oh, your video. We lost your video. Okay, that's what it was. Did you switch off to look at something else?
No, my Discord, what?
Oh, okay.
I'm on my tablet now, so I can be in the cool basement while we're recording, and then less sound interference from I'm downstairs, he's upstairs. It's just a much better situation.
Way better. Oh yeah, but it was nice to do something sort of like ad-libbed, unscripted. we had talked about in a previous episode how like when we moved in here, and you know how we were kind of talking about like there was a period of time where it was like I haven't really boarded, I haven't really done these things. I'm just kind of like seeing what it is, like get a lay of the land kind of thing. That's kind of like what we were doing when like when we first moved in, because I didn't really feel I wouldn't have bought the place if I felt like I instantly needed to ward it the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those. Like, I feel like you shouldn't buy a house if you feel like unsafe in it.
We're not those types of white people who intentionally buy haunted houses just because they're cheap. We would intentionally buy a haunted house if we wanted to clean up the spirits in it, but other than that.
No, the house was quote unquote cheap because he hid and lied about a lot of problems. But anyway, it's fine. It's over 100 fucking years old and whatever, it's mine now. It's my problem to deal with.
Yeah.
The problem all people wish to have.
But anyway, so we had talked about that, but finally last night during our little impromptu Lammas ritual, I laid down my railroad spikes finally. It's one of the things I've always wanted to do, but it just I never had a property, like a space that I could really like kind of do that effectively in, to actually drive the 4 railroad spikes in the 4 corners of your property. And now I do. I actually have dirt in the back and dirt in the front, and I'm like, hell yeah, look at me go. So that was fun. Though a good trick though, if you can't like if you're in an apartment or condo, or like you just don't have like an outdoor kind of space, you could do flower pots. Like you could do small pots of soil like in the 4 corners of your house, condo, whatever, and put the railroad spikes in there too. Same idea, same concept. I just was very giddy and very excited to be able to actually like hammer the fucking things into the ground. It was very satisfying. But like with all magic, it's sympathetic and symbolic, and what is it like if you can't have natural dirt, store-bought is fine, or something like that?
No, it's if you can't find organic hellfire, store-bought is just fine.
Right, yeah. Store-bought is fine.
Oh, but I did want to say now that my chat is working, and I'm gonna say hi to Tink and say hi to Kai. How you guys doing?
We have 6 viewers right now. Look at us, popular.
I know.
Be popular. I want to be popular. I know, it's terrible. I don't want to be popular, but in my
head... don't want to be. You don't want to be popular.
Because then that's just when all the problems start. I would just like to be recognized.
Yeah.
Like, recognized for your efforts.
Yeah. Exactly. Recognized for my efforts. Exactly. For my art. For my contributions to the world. Exactly. That's what we all strive for, isn't it?
We do get that. Like with Pagan Pride Day, like we do get that. Like there is enough people that day, like they'll stop by and be like, everything's amazing, like it's awesome, you guys are doing good. We're like half dead, we're like, thank you so much. It's been 100 years, but thank you. I haven't eaten or drank anything in many hours. Don't be like me. Don't do that. Don't be like me. That's all I have to say. Don't be like me in event organizing mode.
You are a great lesson to many. This is like the type of healthy trans representation that we need. In that I lost my train of thought because I'm laughing at my own joke before I even said it. You continue.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. It's been like a weird. So I don't think we have Sophia here today. I don't think she's able to make it. She's vacationing on a trip. Something. She's out there. Out and about.
She's.
I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah, she's taking a trip somewhere.
We were calling her Eat, Pray, Love trip. Eat, Pray, Love. Redacted trip.
Her redacted
trip. That's what Sophia's on right now.
Yeah, the trip of redaction. But we wish her the best. She's having a great time. out there. So we've been talking to her off to the side. She's having a great time. So she'll probably join us hopefully for the next one. We shall see.
Definitely, yeah.
But Scott, I remember we were kind of talking yesterday. It's almost like we knew, right, that we kind of had like a particular topic in mind. What were we talking about
somewhere
yesterday?
to go. You were specifically talking about I want to try to phrase this correctly. You were talking about practitioners need sort of all of us really need to figure out how our magic sort of works for us, right? Like individually speaking. Like what is it that, we need to be doing for our personal practice that makes it that gives it the oomph, that gives it that thing that we need individually. Magic and the way I took that, there are parts of magic, even if you are a part of like an order or a coven or what have you, that magic, though it can be a group effort, of course, right? But in the end, it's still something that's coming from you, right? Like even if you're putting all your intentions in, and your will into the same task, you still there's still the work that to get you to do that, to be able to make magic. There has to be that individual element of it, right? You have to know yourself, know thyself, right? What is it that connects you? How does your magic work? Like me and you were talking last night about, um we have this thing for simple rituals. There's something about them. Um Now I do like to write out my rituals now, but even the simple ones, it's just because it helps me remember. I just like a little bit of organization, but even last night, like, I feel as if my what that witchy, that thing that, when we pray, when witches pray, that sort of that eloquence, that divine inspired speech, was pretty on point. I was actually really proud of what I came up with. That like, and it just flowed out of me. There wasn't, I didn't need to try. Um,
And that's amazing.
yeah.
And there is also this other side of magic too, that like sometimes you don't have to even have that sort of flowery language either.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can just say what you need to say in a very simple sort of direct. So like the way
Yeah.
what we did last night, it was so ad-libbed and it was so um all of us, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We each like had like our own kind of like imprint on the ritual. It was really nice to have like part of that eloquence and then just part of like this very simple direct kind of thing we were doing, and we all just kind of like wordlessly danced around each other in putting this together, and it just happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved see, like, I kind of love what I liked was the like, not I don't know if it's a contrast, but, like, the invocations, I'm used to, more eloquent language, but I loved the larger portion where it was us kind of talking to each other as part of a
Mm-hmm.
ritual. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sort of like coming together and having, like, an actual emotional moment with your friends. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, that part was really, really moving. And
Mm-hmm.
then, to have that sort of precede, um, the burning and the destruction of the effigy,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, like, it was like, I mean, it was so potent that, there was a moment in our ritual, where the effigy, sort of split in half while it was
Mm-hmm.
burning. And in that moment, there was a release, that sort of that psychic force, sort
Mm-hmm.
of like, and we all
Yep.
felt it. Everyone sort of, it almost had enough force to sort of move you a little,
Mm-hmm.
like physically, it was very much there, very present.
So
And
Kai in the chat was asking what is llamas again? What is llamas? I know it's always like all the neo-pagan holidays, they are reconstructed from but yeah, so llamas, what I understand it as, it's like the first harvest. So right, it's kind of like the first everything's been growing all summer. This is kind of the first pick of everything. You're kind of harvesting everything you've been growing all spring and summer. Um we jokingly refer to it as the bread holiday. Because you're supposed to eat bread on llamas.
Sorry, I had fun of that. Had fun at our strike.
In a nutshell, Lammas is the first harvest. It's a harvest festival. That's
It is.
Lammas in a nutshell. There's a bunch of lore I'm sure you could read up on, but that's
yeah. I
what it
can
is
go
in a
into a little bit
nutshell.
of it if you'd like.
Yeah,
I know
if
a
you know
little
it
bit.
off the cuff. I don't know a lot of
I
it, like
do.
off the
I
top
know
of my
some
head.
of it. I just quickly used my phone to make sure I wasn't wrong about a few things. But
No, yeah, because Lammas, is it an ancient festival or is it a reconstruction of, like,
so
inspired by?
Lunasa
Right,
is the pagan holiday, right?
like Lu's Day.
Lunasa, but specifically Lunasa, uh, is the worship of the god Lu, which
Yeah,
none of us have a relationship with Lu.
yeah.
Um, so we celebrate Lammas, which would actually in traditional craft would make sense. There's a lot of magic, but what has to be understood about Lammas is it's actually an ancient Christian holiday. It's an ancient Christian harvest festival.
Hmm.
But there's so much loaf mass is what it really means. Lammas
Hence
means
the bread
loaf mass,
holiday.
right? Um, and the thing is that it's the same way that a lot of young people have like a friend Christmas, you know, where everyone gets together on like Christmas Eve, and it may not be religious. It's kind of a we take like, you know, some people take it like a secular sort of just a day to come together and love your loved ones kind of thing, right? So a lot of
Sacred
witches
barbecue.
have today, whereas like although there is a lot of traditional cunning, uh, there's a lot of traditional cunning lore
Mm.
about like doing magic on loaf mass or llamas. So yeah, that's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me
But there's
personally,
tons
like,
of
Excellent description, Scott.
yeah,
thank you.
that was good. Look at you, sound like a whole professor. Like in terms of the wheel of the year, like the eight Sabbats, like it's primarily, you know, it's the Wiccan wheel of the year is usually what most people refer to it as. I follow it very generally because I kind of like, you know, I grew up in the Wiccan circuit, I guess, if you want to put it that way, right? And so there's a comfort to that. There's a comfort, you know, I have these 8 times a year. I gather with different groups of people. We do different things. Like for winter solstice, you know, we get a cabin. Um, that's a great time. So like, it's really fun. And it also gives you like this sense of community and this sense of like, you know, belonging, and that's why I kind of follow that. But I've also kind of been constructing my own sort of wheel of the year too, and that kind of like really follows like the pagan pride cycle, because that follows the growing season too. Like that is my crop, is that event that I put out every year. So that's I guess that's like kind of how I visualize the wheel of the year in my mind, is like, okay, well, now we've done this, and then here's the planning season, the planning, you know. So
I mean, but I think that's really smart anyway. I think that we have like the wheel of the year is by like historically a Wiccan, which there's nothing wrong with that, but for a lot of like people who maybe aren't initiates in Wicca, or who don't practice within like a Wiccan framework,
mm,
the wheel of the year can kind of feel like
off-putting.
it's not matching their experience.
Mm.
Because maybe it often is regional. It's funny
It
how the
is, yeah.
instinct to be regional, even when you don't know it, your instinct. This is one of those first ways for a lot of people that they're like, this doesn't seem to fit my surroundings, you know.
Right.
Um,
So
there's a
adjust
lot
the
of
wheel
this,
of the year to fit
right?
what you need it to.
And also look up like folk holidays around, you know, where you're at. These kind of things, right? Find the days that fit, you know, your practice, and look up the lore and the sort of the folk religion surrounding your traditions, etc., etc. Kind of exactly what we're talking about today, learning to make your magic work for you. You know what I mean? Sort
Hmm.
of personalizing it. Like I was thinking a lot about what should I call it? About how people like to do this thing with folk magic, particularly where they're like, well, that's not this. You know, they'll see like a book or they'll
It's
see
not the way
something.
my
They're like,
grandma did it.
right. And the thing
Yeah.
is that the irony about that is that folk magic is not they're not like lineaged in that way. Folk magic folk magic through families was independent, and they would do things differently, right? Family to family, different lore and things like that. And I think that today we need to allow folk magic, just like any of the other traditions, to grow.
Yeah.
I think that in this community we are obsessed, and I had this problem for a long time. Although thankfully I'm completely over it.
You've
But I
grown.
used to have I used to have a really bad problem with loving the old stuff because it was old, and somehow its age gave me it was like, well, this is my authority because it's old. And the problem is, and it's funny because I also found that it's such a manipulation. Um, because it really it shuts down any conversation. You know what
It
I mean?
does, yeah. There's no room for growth.
Right. You can't, and it was unfair, and it was unkind, on my part. I'm calling myself in. But thankfully, I really took a lot of time to be like, I also, I also don't think that traditions in general, a tradition as a concept should not be stagnant, right? We should be willing to grow from traditions, whether that's occult traditions or just like secular traditions that we have. Um, Traditions should not just be upheld because it is what it is. There's a reason for those things. It's about community. It's about community building. It's about community resource. Like that's what traditions are for. And I think that should be the focus, not its historical, whatever.
Because it seems like I think this is like a lot of the issue, right? Like with magic and like the sort of witchcraft community, is that like a lot of us are independent, right? And we have certain ways of doing things, and then you get all these and then these independent witches come together, and they're like, all right, well, let's try and work as a group. Like, let's try and do this. And people come in with an edge to themselves, like an edge to their craft. You know what I mean? Like they might be like, "You good down there? I see you with one ear open." Oh, okay. Shit, what was I saying? Oh, you good?
Sorry, yeah, I was just doing that because I was muted because I was taking a hit and I didn't want to interrupt Scott. But yeah, no. I did take. You saw me do the stereotypical take one head because Scott, I'm, and it's, of course I would notice it while Scott would be talking. I'm sitting right next to my ancestor altar, and the that little candle thing with the four I think the mic is in this ear, and that's why I'm coming through choppy. The little candle thing with the 4 deer, that when you light the candle, the deer move around.
Yeah.
The little spinny thing.
The little spinny thing. They were spinning. The candle's not lit, and there's no breeze down here.
I noticed that before on the
did
ancestor
you?
altar.
Yeah.
The only thing, it is directly under the vent.
Is it under the vent though?
Like the vent is there, so like I don't know. It's one of those things that I'm like, is it them? Is it spirit spinning the thing, or is it just the air from a vent spinning the thing? And then
I'm always one for the logical explanation versus the supernatural explanation.
Because I've seen it before. I've seen exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Very, very slowly. The only vent that's down here is pointed towards the back of the.
That's a little weird. That's a little weird.
There is no air. Trust me, the first thing I checked for was airflow. I'm like, there must be.
Our fucking basement has like no airflow.
Like, I'm telling you,
the first time we smoked down there, it was like a haze. I was like, oh god.
It is.
How very that's 70s show.
Right.
Also, my witch hat ejected itself from my altar. Like it was stuck. You know how my witch hat was like stuffed in the middle shelf of my altar?
Yeah.
It's now next to the blue container.
Oh, we'll put it on.
I haven't touched it.
Interesting.
Put it on, Mister. Don't touch the curse.
We shook things up in your house.
Honestly,
Obviously.
I woke up feeling great though. Like the energy in the house is really nice.
Too.
It's really
felt
good.
So good this morning.
It's raining again right now. Boo hiss. Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
I can hear the cart.
Alexa's in the chat.
Hi.
Big shout out to Alexa, Vince, Jim, Aaron, and the South Street Circle crew for helping us build a shed. We built, I think it was like, I don't know if we talked about the shedding on the podcast. I don't know if we got a chance to talk about it.
It has become its own sacred event. Like it is like one of our it's like one of our Sabbats now.
Right.
Like the shedding. Where all these witches, all these people that are way too skinny built a whole shed, and it lasted its first, second, third storm. It's wonderful.
Watertight, everything's dry. We're good.
Love it.
Now, like none of us are very none of us work construction jobs, like manual labor jobs, so it's a bunch of desk jockeys building a shed.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. It was a good sweaty time.
Also nerds too. You forgot about
also nerds. Yeah. So fucking Rick though, I gotta hand it to
I was gonna say
Rick
though.
Rick he's the best. He really is. He really comes through. He was just like drill, and I'm like, you work in IT? You sure? All right. Look at you. Me, my wrist is like shaking, and I'm like, I'm a weak little fucking whatever.
You know what? My baby are matching.
Oh, look at us.
Somehow he's the queerest of us, but
what'd you say?
I said somehow he's the queerest of us. But he's like the most mask. Like
he
so
is.
like you
He's
could
so
do like
doodly. And then also not like all at the same time.
Right, at the same time, it's like you're out queering me somehow. But
dare
like,
out. You can't out queer me.
It's like how rude.
We'll be like, hey girl, hey, and then he's like, drill. And I'm like,
right.
What the fuck?
Like eyeballs, how to like, eyeballs
say?
measurement when he's like cutting wood for a big project. Like, how are you doing that?
No, I want to give a huge shout out to specifically to Aaron and Vince, because I have never seen two of the most slight men in my life just work together so well, and they must have put up half of it by themselves. Like they were just like boom, boom, boom. Here's a wall. Here's the back wall. Here's this boom, and I'm like, am I watching Magic in real time?
For real, I really building is fucking magic, and it really does take like. And this is back to community, okay? This is why we all need to learn how to play nice with each other, right? Because you need fucking community. Like, there was no way that me and just the people in my house were going to build that fucking shed ourselves. Okay, we could have. It would have taken us probably 2 days instead of 1 day, and we all might have killed each other by the end of it. Or, or we would all just be dead from the effort, of building it. But that's like the idea of community, right? Like that's why it's
many hands make light work.
Yeah, like, and that is why if you live in the Philadelphia area and you want to volunteer for Philadelphia Pagan Pride Day and help us lift heavy fucking shit,
you get a cool. I'm not wearing a shirt right now, but you get a cool shirt.
You get a cool shirt.
Get a really cool shirt.
And you burn calories, you get a cool shirt, a great workout, and we have snacks. So, there you go. That's my pitch.
Fun.
And the art on the shirt, like, is just really cool.
The art
so
is
pretty.
Like every year, like artwork on it is like awesome.
Yeah, since 2021, I think 2021. That's when we started doing the custom art designs. 22.
Mm-hmm.
Was it
22.
22? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 21 we were
21.
like, oh god, we're back. It's
We're
weird.
still with the
Yeah.
same artist, right?
Actually, it's a different artist. Martine drew the design for this year.
Cool.
The first year was Randy, who's our graphic design artist guy. And then the second year, his fiance actually drew the Triple Moon design.
Yeah.
And this year, Randy's on hiatus. He's got a million successful projects going on, so he's just too busy to kind of So happy for Randy, sad for me. So I'm designing the program this year. But Martine was awesome, and she stepped up and she drew a really nice little like broom with a hat, cute little design that will be for the t-shirt this year. And it looks really similar in style to the previous years. So I was like, this is perfect. Like it really fits in. So the synchronicity will still be there. Yeah, the shirt's gonna be awesome. And our new board member Ember, super awesome person. Their partner has a print shop, like a screen printing shop, and they're doing the t-shirts. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
So yeah, we're just supporting the community like as much as we can. I actually should probably ask and see if they know anyone with a print shop, like paper printing, so I don't have to go to fucking Office Max, Staples, or whatever. Those motherfuckers.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Because every year.
Oh my god, I remember the nightmare.
Every year.
Oh god, that nightmare last year.
I might just go to like the printers and just be like, how like. What if I just print it myself and I got the long stapler? You know what I mean? Like if I just paid them to use their printers, and I just stapled it on myself. I don't know.
You could literally do that at Staples.
Yeah, so no. I don't know.
When do we have the time to do that?
You are on the volunteer list. Yes, you, Vince, and another South Street Circle member, Hermia.
Hermia, who has her own table.
Who also has a table that she's running. So yes, if there's anyone else out there, or if you know anyone who's in the Philly area, that is, let them know that the event is happening and that we need people. Because
I could also post on like my Facebook and
yeah, please do. That's
Tumblr and
Benny's always
Yeah, no, seriously, but yeah, if you post on your personal, Scott, because you reach a whole different, group of people, and like everyone reaches different pockets of people on their, personal feeds. So, yeah, seriously, like post out there that we need volunteers, because it's. I guess I could talk a little bit about this. Please understand that in this event season, because this is kind of event season, right? Summer is like all the events happen, ton of shit happens, and then also into the fall. Right, because the weather's still nice and we can be outside and have events. Please understand that these organizations, these nonprofits that run these events, are run by people like the ones that you see on this screen, right? And these people have full-time jobs, family drama, illnesses, shit going wrong in their house. Like they have full lives, full of shenanigans, just like you do. And they are also taking the time to run this event, set this up. Oh, Phoenix wants to be a volunteer. That's awesome, Lexa. That is what's up. Now cool. We have another volunteer.
Oh yeah, Phoenix volunteered last year.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. We do get some walk-ons. I will say that. So that's also
Always.
Nice. Sometimes we get we get people walk on, but get there early, please. Thank you. Or stay late. But just remember, like. We're not Walmart, right? Like we're not a faceless corporation. We're not trying so when there's just certain ways that people act on social media sometimes, and it's like you could choose to just talk to someone at the organization. Like all you have to if you're upset about something, all you have to do is shoot me a message. Hey, this was really fucked up last year, and I'll be like, let's talk about it. But instead of going on Facebook and being like, we're not doing this, F you guys, whatever, throwing a little fit in public on a public page, maybe just reach out. We're a neighborhood organization. We're a garage band, So just think about that, Okay, the next time like you're going to an event and if you feel some type of way, like you feel like you want to speak to the manager, you can speak to the manager. You absolutely can. Just don't be a dick about it. Like that's all. All I have to say. Ugh.
I guess, but I mean that's still important to our topic, right? About community, and I think that there has to be something said about sort of standard, what should be sort of practiced for the pagan, occult, magical, pre-Christian tradition communities. I think that there should be a standard of compassion. There should be a standard of authenticity. I'm not saying that we have to be perfect because that's ridiculous.
It's impossible.
But what I'm saying is that you should strive for we should be the ones to pioneer this idea of, let it be like a softness that is first. You know what I mean? Let it be, a gentleness first, and then if you have to cross swords, that's when you do it. You know what I'm saying? That should be our way.
Yeah.
We shouldn't want to or strive to have to fight, but we will if we have to.
Right.
I think that's a healthier way. I think it's a mentally it's more of a sound,
it's don't push me there.
way.
I don't want to go there. That's not where I want my energy to go.
Right.
I want all of us to be happy. You motherfucker.
I want us all to make it.
Speaking of, if I could interject, there's a rat in the chat.
There's a rat in the chat.
There's a rat in the chat, but like in a good way.
Yes, it's Rat from our Discord server.
From our Discord server.
Rat is awesome. We have a weekly discussion. It should be probably called the weekly-ish discussion, like everything else that we do. Everything is ish, everything is like time is liminal and not real. But anyway, time is a construct.
The world is ending.
Whatever. But yeah, Rat runs our weekly discussion topics, and they really come up with some really cool ideas, and we all have fun responding. I think the latest one was about self-care. I probably think the most hilarious response was self-care. We don't know her. I think someone responded to that.
I actually just saw that, and just like I was talking to you, Jay, last night, I was like, I feel so bad because I come in and because I really want to try to be on the Discord more. Because once again, I come in and I see like a topic about self-care, which is something I take really seriously. And I was like, damn it, I totally could have, put my input.
You take your self-care so seriously. Like, you are in the bathtub right now with your bath salts and, like, candles. Like, I know you are. You can't convince me otherwise.
God.
Like an Enya playing in the background,
Oh, God. I wish that's what my self-care looked like. My self-care God, my self-care is like, I guess in some ways it's like very healthy, but a lot of the time it's like self check-ins and like self call-outs. It's like, hey, you really shouldn't have did it. You shouldn't have did this thing like that. You only responded that way because you responded from a place of trauma, and and I'm not mean to myself. Don't be mean to yourself, right? But like, I'm like, let's be honest about why we do things. You know what I mean? What's really under it, and then I call myself in. And that's honestly what my self-care looks like most of the time. Only because my therapist doesn't like when like because sometimes we can overindulge in the nice stuff.
Yeah.
A
little too much escapism.
Yeah, we become a little bit avoidant. But no, it is nice to do something nice for yourself. Like, I do believe, it's funny because I've went on way too many tangents about catharsis, so I won't go on it again. But
no, please go on.
I think that a little bit of catharsis, when you know what it is you're seeking catharsis from, I think it's a good thing. You know what I mean? I think one of my favorites is retail therapy. You bring me, you let me pull up Amazon or any of the occult book publishers or the bookstore in Center City here in Philly. I will leave there just like, yay, and then after, of course, I need like a snacky and like, something to eat. You know what I mean? Like I'm like the happiest thing ever after that. So sure, those things are also important.
We need a really good occult bookstore. Like a good. We need everything.
We need. I was just
a good occult store in Philly.
I wish that there was someone here to talk to. Like, I mean, I don't know much about business, but I would be interested in just having a conversation with somebody who has some kind of experience with Philadelphia specifically. You would think a city like Philadelphia.
A couple OGs still hanging around that I believe Jim knows and has talked to. And I think they may have ran shops in the past or been affiliated with shops in the past. Even like, I mean, you used to work at Harry's. Lexa, she used to work at Harry's too. So like, but I believe there are some people that Jim might know that used to run stores in the Philly area.
I mean, I don't know, like there are like videos on YouTube, for instance, about like how to run an occult shop and all that.
Well, I've been thinking about doing the flea market circuit is where I've been thinking about trying to do it. So like, they're cheap spaces, like at Columbus over in Jersey. You can get a table for $25, I think it was, for the day. Big ass table, big spot. And then you just put on your social media, like, come find me here at this flea market.
That's incredible, because I've been looking at like wholesale stuff, and like, because I know we still have the wholesale thing because of and I was like, we could
when
like
you have an
utilize
LLC,
that.
anything is possible, apparently.
Like, because that's going to be the way to make more product. So yeah,
I have a ton of stuff already. Like, I have like a bunch of like those master bottles that we were talking about, like the amber bottles and stuff for all the oils. Yeah, I have a lot of supplies I've already gotten.
Right, which makes it even better, because then it's just really about like.
And retail therapy.
Can I just interject again?
Yeah.
Can I just interject again, because I'm like having like, I can't believe it. We literally just hit 10 viewers for the first time.
It's showing 9 on my end, so I haven't said anything because it's showing 9 on me. But if it's showing 10, we'll go with 10. We'll go with 10.
Hi everyone.
Hi all 10 people.
Whatever. 9, 10. I'm gonna take the 10. I saw 10. I'm gonna take the 10. I don't know.
Considering that when we live streamed Pagan Pride in 2020, the experience that was the harrowing experience that was.
Y'all don't know what sleep deprived is.
Yeah, that is a whole new level of sleep deprived. I have, even in college, I did not experience that level of sleep deprivation. But anyway, I digress. We had about 27 to 30 people consistently throughout the day, like, viewing. And the fact that, like, we're just a little podcast, like, and to have, like, I don't know, it's nice. Those are the numbers that I have in my head. So, it's a good feeling.
It would be so cool, too, if, are we going to do it this year?
Wow.
Live stream?
No, so, I was talking about 2020 specifically, when pandemic year, when we could not have a...
Oh, that you mean. Sorry.
That, yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah,
no, we will never live stream Pagan Pride ever again. No,
I'll just do rituals for 8 hours in my house and live stream that. Like, I don't think I'll do the, like, send me your workshop video, and then this one's going to be live, and then up next is blah. That was so much tap dancing. I couldn't do it. So much tap dancing. I had to be on camera for like 10 hours. That was just wild. And I've learned that I'm not. I had to record a little recording of a piece of a ritual for a grade school project, and I was just in a tizzy.
I was like, the cameraman.
Yeah, because I was like, this is why I don't do fucking YouTube. Okay, because I'm a fucking perfectionist. Like, I say YouTube in the sense of like our shit's on YouTube, but I'm not like editing these fucking videos, as you can tell. We're doing it live. I was like, the lighting and the positioning and the this, and I was like, this is why I don't fucking YouTube. Plus, I have
he was having a whole little freak out. I came down here and I'm like, honey, he had his phone set up in a music stand, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
I'm trying to do it myself.
I'm like, come on, let mama help. No. And then we made a really nice video, and everything was a-okay. It's just we function better together than we do separate.
But also,
takeaway is always ask for help when you need it.
Yeah, and that's hard for me to do. It is hard for me to do, even for my
for
own wife. I'm just like, I just figured out. I don't want to bother
it's
anybody.
Hard for a lot of people. It is. It's common to have that issue.
Mm-hmm.
I once heard recently that issue comes from consistently being disappointed by your parents. I thought it was a very wise. Sorry.
I tried my best to keep that in.
That was so perfect. Like, let me tell you the level of disappointment. Sorry. It's gonna sound, for some people, given your situation, you're gonna be like, you privileged little bitch, shut up. But whatever. My parents bought us these Disney sing-along tapes, all right? Like, we're gonna go to Disney and sing the songs and sing the song with fucking Mickey and Under the Sea, and we're singing the songs and we're gonna go to Disney on vacation, and we never fucking did. Never. And every year, my mom would religiously, here's your sing-along tapes, we're gonna go to Disney, get excited. Never fucking went.
That's weird.
So that's the level of not saying that's the only thing that they've disappointed me on, but that's the one that sticks out in my inner child is upset.
Okay. Jesus. Okay. Sorry. The whole thing. Sorry.
No, it's funny though. You were just so on the nose. I was like, yeah, that tracks. Check that off my list. Yeah. Constant disappointment. Nice. That's me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where it comes from, apparently.
Well, it's okay. Tornado. Not a tornado. A tropical storm is going through their house, hopefully. No.
Well, I mean, when you live in Florida, good luck. Like, you chose to move to Florida. You know what happens when the storms come. Whatever.
So, I guess my question too, because to kind of get us back to our topic a little bit, what are some ways that you guys personalize your magic to make it work for you? And even if you don't know yet, maybe you don't even know yet, it's okay, but like, it's interesting.
I can answer this. I have an answer like right here at the top of my head. So it's kind of like what we were talking about. I think I'm coming through, Michael. Yeah, sorry. Coming through your speaker a little bit. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that is weird then. Unless it's coming out of the headphones and picking up in the mic. Oh, you're deaf. No. I'm just kidding. I am too, though. Are they on? Okay. Your question. It was how do you personalize? Is that what it was? Like, how do you kind of personalize your magic?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I have, and we kind of talked about this yesterday, but I have fully realized that, like, my magic relies in the making of things. Like, kind of how we were talking about trinkets. I like to go to flea markets, and I like to find old keys and things. Like, I can't explain what the things are. They're just things. Like, I have these opera glass things that I want to, witch up and make them like spirit glasses or something like that. Like, so that for me is where my magic is. I am drawn to little things. I feel sometimes I feel like there's a certain spirit or energy attached to them, maybe some kind of like residual energy. Sometimes I feel that. And for me, a lot of time too is like, my magic is not always me talking. I'm really not the person that sits there like with a script. Like, when I'm doing my own magic, like, usually the magic is the making of the thing, is the doing of the act. It's the mixing of the powder, it's the the stirring the cauldron, whatever the craft it is that I'm doing, the craft of the witch, like whatever that is the magic.
Yep.
It's the intent. Every like in here in my head, I'm not like, all right, well after this I'm gonna go to Walmart and then I'm gonna go and feed the cats.
Right.
Like no, I'm not there
You're
in my head.
focused. Right. You're focused on something.
Mm-hmm.
You're present with that task that you're
Mm-hmm.
doing in the moment.
Exactly. Like if I'm making like a money potion or something, right? Like in my head, I'm thinking of mountains of gold. I'm thinking like the Cave of Wonders in Aladdin. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's I have to go to a place of very high fantasy, but that works for me because that's what I want. Like like I want a mountain of gold, right?
Right.
Who doesn't
Right.
want a mountain of gold in whatever way that comes? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's all very like metaphorical and like symbolic for me. Like when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to like my visualizations, I visualize big, knowing that it's not no one's gonna drop a pile of gold in my lap, but I might find $20 on the ground, kind of thing. So, but the power that I'm putting into it
Yeah.
is the visualization kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm
I
usually
like that a lot.
not chanting out loud. I'm not like blah, blah, blah. I'm not like saying something over and over again. Sometimes if I feel called to chant something, I will. But most of the time it is just me focused making the thing, and then I kind of have like a final like like a release, and the thing is done, the craft is finished, the working is over, we're good.
So motivate.
So mote be like it very much a like, and so it is. So mote be. That is what it is for me. But the same side of the token is sort of another area that I'm really dipping my toes back into, and I do kind of want to share with people is sort of like bardic magic, magic through song kind of thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. So me and Rue are gonna practice and experiment with there's like a song cover that we're gonna do for a grade school project of mine. But I kind of want to see how that goes, and then maybe come out with my own chant library or something. Like
Or a
and share that
magical
with people.
instrument that you play.
Right? Yeah.
Like the
So,
harp years ago. That there's a story about a magical harp that used to put people to sleep.
ooh. Well, Rue didn't
It's an old
need any
bard
help with that
story.
yesterday.
Honestly, please don't do that. I don't need any help.
All you need to do is put on like I don't know, 10-hour nature video, and Rue goes right to sleep.
Well, it was a 10-hour nature video plus 2 hard ciders
No, that's
and
true.
dinner.
Yeah.
So, lights
That's
out.
also true.
Taurus. And that's where we come back to know thyself. So like Rue was like, because this morning you were like, oh my god, like I feel so bad, like I fell asleep, and I'm like, you are who you are. Like the rest, like who you are and how you are, all of the things were against you. You were not going to stay awake. There was no way that you were going to stay awake. And that's just how it is.
I know.
Also, you were with company who like literally did not even think 2 seconds about it. You know what I mean? We were like,
nope.
I really and I'm so grateful for that, because I have had scenarios in my past that the same thing would get me in trouble and would get me yelled at or scoffed at or whatever, because like, why the hell are you just randomly falling asleep? But it's like, I don't know, I just fell asleep. I can't,
right.
not like insomnia levels, it's just I don't really sleep well at night, so I like naps. And I just it was a combination of things, but no, I did genuinely felt bad, but I know I shouldn't. I realized that I
Not with us.
should not feel bad. Exactly.
But I understand that you do. I get it. I know stuff like that too. Mine's more like the antisocial thing at parties, where like, I used to do it a lot more before, but I used to like at family events or even with friends and stuff, I would just like shuffle off somewhere and just sort of stand there and just be with people instead of like being a part of it. But I do better now, mostly. Unless like we're out in public, then I have a hard time sometimes.
Yeah.
Like at Pride, I kind of had to like I was like starting to shut down because I was getting overwhelmed.
It's very people
Towards the
people.
end.
Yeah.
Like, because they said they wanted to have the biggest, most inclusive pride that Philly has ever seen, and people loved this pride for good reason. It was really nice, but boy, oh boy,
Was it
did
large
they?
and in charge?
It was very large, and I was like, that's a lot. It's like, is it possible that there are too many queer people in a single space? Maybe.
The answer is probably.
It's just,
It's just not a bad thing. It's just a bad thing from a safety standpoint and from my mental sanity standpoint.
When we went to Outfest, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Or what? Yeah, it was Outfest.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I was like, all right, let's try it again. Let's give it a go. And I was like, nope, nope. Hate this. Can't. Too many people. Too hot.
Like shove past people. Excuse me. Like that's all you're saying, and it's just that's not fun.
Also, I had a really dark thought, and I was like, oh, we are fish in a barrel out here, aren't we?
Also, that is a genuine thing that many people fear.
Yeah,
it is like it does cross your mind. It crossed my mind a little bit. I had to sort of actively be like, don't go there.
Like, you have to, because you'll crumble. You'll be like, well, I'm out. See you later.
Because it starts to make you nervous. Like, even at this Pride, we were standing in front of a place that I didn't even know existed. It's called X Bar. And I didn't even know. It's a gay bar called X Bar. And we were standing in front of there. They play like techno and like, trance dance type of stuff. Very like ravey music, which is kind of cool. And we were standing out front, and like just like a block up, a whole bunch of people started running and like acting like they saw something. But it was funny because like my friend Chris was like, I could tell your therapy brain kicked in, that therapeutic brain, because he's like, you almost activated and then suddenly you like deflated a little bit and you're like, wait, let's see what's happening. But that's kind of the thing. Like, I don't like people they do this thing where like they thought someone had a gun but they didn't. Someone just shouted it somewhere, and it kind of was like whispered down the lane. You know what I mean?
And then it causes a panic, and
for
no reason.
And like people start, and like the cops were like, "What's going on?" Like the cops weren't even taking it seriously at the time. So like I was like, I don't think there's anything to worry about right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever.
But it is nerve-wracking though.
But it was nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking. It was like, it made me nervous at first because I'm like, shit, there's all my friends are here. You know what I mean? Like. And of course, I'm like, how do I get them out? You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, we're not close to it, Yeah. But still, it's what you think about, And it's not. It's not bad that you think about it, because you should be able to like keep yourself safe,
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want it to like ruin, your fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. There is a fine line between like, understanding that every time you leave your house, there's a certain level of safety that you sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
But that's true of being human in whatever era you are in. You know what I mean? So like, if we're going back to, we always like to go the prehistoric whatever fucking times. Okay, well, you left your cave and you got eaten by a fucking bear or whatever. So like, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a giant kangaroo or whatever existed at the time. Like.
Stop.
Like, who knows?
God. There was some weird shit back then.
I was reading that like there's evidence that there were giant marsupials that existed. So I'm like, that sounds fucking terrifying to be like kicked by a massive kangaroo. Like even just kangaroos now at the size they are now. Like, you saw that guy got rocked by that kangaroo. We all saw it.
There's also did you ever see the it kind of looked like a giant anteater. Can you imagine a giant anteater?
No, I could not.
Yeah, that used to exist too.
That's terrifying.
It was like almost the size of a horse.
Like, could you imagine walking outside like with your sharpened stick and there's a giant anteater? Like, listen.
I love how you're just like, I'm over this already. I don't even talk about it.
Like, no. But then, it's also true of still now, you know what I mean? We live in a civilized society. Yeah. Okay, yeah, but also I could, in theory, walk out of my house and someone could be like, no, fuck you. Like, that's the risk we take for being human.
On purpose. Sometimes it's just like someone saying "fuck you" to somebody else, and you get hit. You know?
And you're like, well, what the fuck?
But then I also think about too, like all like the weird, like that's why I try not to be paranoid. Because like I know my mom hates when I go out, but like I'm like, Mom, I could be killed sitting in this room. Yeah, big time. Big time.
She doesn't really go out. She just goes to work, goes home.
Food shopping.
Yeah.
She doesn't really like to go out. My mom really hates people. Like she really, really hates people.
So fair.
Kinda are not great all the time. Like when it's really hard. It's really hard to find people that you connect with on deep levels.
Yeah.
I do it is my wish that everyone finds at least one person that they can have this kind of conversation with, right? Like the thing that we do here, like that deep kitchen table conversation, or 3 a.m. at a diner conversation. I truly, that is my wish for everyone. Sometimes, like to find true love or this or that. Like, no, I just want you to have a person that you can just be like, listen, we're just going to trauma dump on each other and it's fine.
Yeah.
And we can both handle it. I wish that for everyone. But it is hard, and it does require a certain level of give and take, just like any other kind of relationship, and which also goes into building community, right? Because you have a bunch of these individual people, a lot of people with main character syndrome. Or whatever it is they call it, main character syndrome. And sometimes I have a little bit of it myself. Sometimes I'm like, I have to save the world. And I'm like, you fucking right. Calm down, Link. Hero of the hero of time, relax.
I have it too, but more like in an individual sense. Like I always have to save people from them. Like I always think I have to save people from themselves thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I am very much like that too. Anyone that I can kind of throw a lifeline to, I will. Sometimes at my own detriment. Whatever. It's my toxic trait. My toxic trait is caring too much. Ugh. But Rue, you didn't answer the question, and I know we'd have to wrap up in a little bit. But the question that Scott was asking is, what do you do in your magic to make it really personalized? Like, what is distinctly you? Or if you don't know yet, that is also fine.
No, I didn't know I was expected to answer the question. I should have expected to be answered the question. But,
I'm testing.
Oh boy. So I guess like just repeat the question.
Is there something in your magic, right, that you do that you haven't seen anyone else do or talk about, or what is distinctly you?
Yeah, what do you do to make magic sort of work for you that's personal? And it could be anything. It could be like maybe a state of mind, it could be an action, it could be like, anything that kind of personalizes your magic in a way that optimizes it for yourself, that you find better results in.
Well, I guess and I think gosh, I'm really trying to formulate. I have an answer. I'm just trying to formulate it. Two things, I guess. The fact that I've always the fact that I've had these abilities since I was like a little kid. And I've brought that into my practice, obviously, and learned more on it. And so it's not, my experience doesn't come just from witchcraft. It comes from just being a normie, interacting with spirits and otherworldly creatures. Also having 4 other personalities plus myself in my head, my magic's always going to be a little bit different. And I kind of noticed that they kind of, it's easy, they kind of all morph. They actually kind of come together when I'm doing magic. There's not 4 people all trying to do something different. So it's like we all have the same intention. We all have the same, like, it doesn't matter what, like, it's not like each one is trying to do something different. Like, whatever magic we're working on, all 5 are working on it together.
So with your visualization, like, is there like already like there's like a coven in your head, kind of like the
Basically,
coven of you, like your own circle of yourself. In your head.
Well, that's how they're shaped. Yeah, they're shaped in a semicircle, basically. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's my personal like, especially when I'm doing those kinds of workings, like dealing with supernatural entities, I would say.
What about you, Scott? You gotta answer your own question.
Yeah, I can answer my own question.
You better.
My thing is, mine. I like to keep things. I really like keeping things feeling very like kitchen table magic. You know what I mean? Like, I have really, really reduced the amount of things I need to produce magic.
Yeah.
I don't need a lot of stuff, and I'm working really, really hard. Now, I do like, I'm working very hard on sort of not overthinking spells, and sometimes that could sort of, it halts me a little bit. But in the end, I always, I come back to realizing like, all as like a witch should like a practitioner should be able to have like a shoestring and a stick, you know what I mean, and be able to produce something, right?
Yeah, I remember I was editing an episode. I think I said something similar. I was like a bag of chips and a Bic lighter, right? Like,
right.
If you have a bag of chips and a Bic lighter, like, go figure it out,
Right. And I think that I try to do that, and I feel as if another thing that I like to do, and this should be, I guess this is kind of for everyone, really. This isn't really a personal thing, but because of therapy, I'm very, very aware of my body. And I know I'm becoming very aware of the moment when I know that magic is going to work very, very well for me. When I feel that magic can't work when I feel as if I'm stressed or under pressure of any kind, and I have to have that particular moment, and I feel it, where it's sort of just a gentle relax, sort of a neutral state of just being, and it's sort of a mild sense of not trance, but it's just a contentment, a deep sort of sense of contentment. And in that moment is when like one thing that I always realized, I started noticing this by meditation and practicing like breath work. And I remember I got to this state, and I gently sort of I breathed in, and as I exhaled, I could feel that sort of that breath of power that's sort of like on your lips. It tingles in a way that your breath doesn't normally, So being very aware of my body, remembering that I don't need a lot of stuff to produce really powerful magic, tends to produce, the most effective magic for me. Although I am, it's ironically and almost sort of in contradiction, I am very much about experimenting with magic now and sort of getting out of my comfort zone. So it's like, it's kind of, I think it's just because I'm wondering if now I realize that I can carry I can carry, at least like, for instance, I can carry that deeply centered feeling into other things. Like, I'm really interested in experimenting with creating my own seals for spirits and stuff. I have like me and Darian got a compass, to draw, like perfect circles and stuff, and I want to get stencils to do like other shapes like that are meaningful, kind of take inspiration from Laura Tempest Zakroff's Sigil Witchery book, using symbols and things. So yeah, I hope that made sense.
Yeah, she's a fantastic source for digital witchery. I totally recommend that. Well, shit, I want to see these seals when they're
I haven't really, like, I'm working on it. Like, I have what you call it? I made a sigil script too. I got like really inspired one day, and it's nothing super fancy, and it's really really basic. But I also, because I racked my brain for hours, just like, how do I make this more meaningful? How do I And I'm like, how about you not? Like, what if you didn't?
Like,
What
what
if
if you just?
you
It is what it is.
Right? What if it's just like a script that you made to put you in a state for magic? What if it doesn't have a super secret occulty? What if it's just a particular line work that you do that means letters, and it lets your brain know, hey, it's magic time. This thing is magic now, you know? And I'm like, that might be just as effective. So that's what I did, and it really flowed out of me, just like these like really simple line work shapes that are really nice, loosely inspired by Thebin. Here and there, you definitely see the inspiration. But yeah, and I did that, so that's kind of one of the things I want to do. That inspiration came from reading Sarah Mastros's book on the Pentacles of Solomon. That book is like really fascinating. So yeah.
Well, look at us. Look at us. Filling over an hour of time.
I know. That was a good conversation about community and
I was
being
worried
important.
because we just all saw each other yesterday. That I'm like, are we all gonna sit here and be like, But I'm like, no, it's us.
Bullshit. We always got more to talk about.
Yeah,
right.
True.
No, it worked out.
So yeah, we're an hour and 16. So I think we should kind of like wrap things up here for today.
Absolutely.
Plus, my bladder is so full and I have to pee so bad. We have had like 10 viewers in this. I think that might have been the most that we've had. Or
Ever.
one of the top. So thank you for everyone who showed up. We really appreciate
guys, finish. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, seriously, guys, it told me to finish. Now I can't talk. No, like I just looked over and like I have the chat up and just like Kai and Rat and Lexa and just seeing you guys and it's the best therapy in the world that you.
I guess I'll kind of leave like I could kind of say this, right? And I think Rue, you kind of have like the same thing. So like when me and Rue got together, I've always loved the idea. Who doesn't want to be a YouTuber, a content creator, a personality, right? Like so like you're kind of fed that narrative of like this is the goal, right? To do this thing and be this thing. And it's like I thought that was the goal. And so like I had even played around with like making a YouTube channel, like, trying to be a trans personality, like this is me, I'm a trans guy, I live in my trans life and I do things. And I'm like, I'm not interesting in that way. You know what I mean? So, but with Witches Betwixt, with this podcast, it was so fucking organic. Like it was not forced. It was, we were at Scott's kitchen fucking table. We were talking about shit. And I said, let's hit a record button. And that's really just kind of how it went. And I cannot be more happy that we have stuck with that format. Like we've just stuck with it as best as we possibly can. We don't record every week. Shit happens, life happens. I don't give a shit about being rich. Like I'm not gonna get rich off this. You know what I mean? Like it's not like and that's not the goal. The goal is to have this kitchen table conversation, including as many people as we can. And I love that we do it live. I also hate editing. So in that way, I also love that we do it live.
Works out to everyone's advantage.
Yeah. I also realized the way my brain works, I do things in batches. If you listen to the recorded version of this and not the live version of this, I edit in batches. I'll do like 3 or 4 episodes at a time. It's just the way it goes. But I'm very grateful for everything that we have going on here. We do have a Ko-fi that if you do want to support us, throw a couple bucks our way to help us like pay server fees and all that crap. We do have a Ko-fi page. We have 3 different tiers. One of the tiers is the Hail Satan tier. And basically what it is, it's $6.66 a month. And you can just like pop in a message, anything that you want to hail, give a shout out to, whatever the case is. I don't know if you're still in the chat, Tink, but Tink has been a long time subscriber of that tier. And Tink always wants us to remember, with everything that is going on out there, please just remember Palestine. Remember the people that are out there. Free Palestine. Light a candle for them. Donate to, a vetted fundraiser. I've seen scam fundraisers. That's fucked up, you assholes. I've seen that. Seen scam fucking fundraisers out there for people in Palestine. That's fucked up. But yeah, so just look for, good vetted lists out there. Anything you can donate to. Shit's fucked. But thank you to Tink for being a longtime subscriber of that tier and always, just maintaining that message and keeping that. Rat said, finding this space was amazing. As a trans mask witch, it can be hard to find people to relate to. Agreed. As a trans mask witch myself, it can be difficult to find people to relate to. So I'm very glad that we have built a little pocket of the internet where people can come to and hang out and just be chill. Alrighty, everyone.
It's
we will
our own
see
little
you.
gay corner.
We will not see you next week, though. We will be at Philadelphia. So if you'll be at Philadelphia, somehow, we'll be there. So you know what we look like. All right, everyone. We're gonna head out of here. Yes, and we will see you all